So here we are again, and we're going to talk about the Canon R7 and lens adapters. So in one of my earlier videos, we took a look at adapting a few different lenses using the Meike or Meike, whatever you call it, lens adapter to do those tests. This time around, we're going to do it using the Canon OEM adapter. Because one of the viewers pointed out, well, he said maybe the stabilization is not so good because you're not using an official Canon adapter. Oh, and let me just mention that this test is going to be slightly different from the last. We're still going to be walking on the bridge with the camera facing me. But at the end of the video, I'll also give some shots of me walking through the bridge without the camera pointed to me, just pointed straight forward so you can see a nice wide shot of the bridge and how the image stabilization fares in that situation. Now, you could not watch the test and just skip all the way to the end to hear what the results are. I'll go ahead and put all the different time codes and stuff in the description so you can skip to the test, skip to whatever you want, or you could watch the whole video. Now, if you watch the whole video, you have my gratitude and my love. If you decide to skip to the end, you have my resentment and my hate. Do what you want to do though. Let's get started. So right now we're viewing the 10 to 18 millimeter lens, zoomed all the way out to 10. And in this one, this is still the 10 to 18. It's zoomed all the way out to 10, but we are also at level 1 of the movie stabilization. This clip is level 2 of movie image stabilization. This is still the 10 to 18 millimeter lens. And this shot here, again, is the 10 to 18 millimeter lens, but this is at 18 millimeters, so zoomed all the way in. No movie stabilization. And this is the same lens, zoomed all the way into 18 millimeters, level 1 movie stabilization. Same lens, 18 millimeters, level 2 movie stabilization. And now we're going to switch over to a lens that I thought during the last video did really well being adapted, and that is the 18 to 135 millimeter kit lens. Now this is the same lens, 18 to 135 millimeter, but using level 1 movie stabilization. Same lens, 18 to 135 millimeter, but level 2 movie stabilization. So, and like I said earlier, we're going to do some shots of me just walking down the bridge without the camera pointing to my face, just pointing straight down the bridge. So here we go. This first one is the 10 to 18 millimeter lens. And in this one, we're zoomed all the way in to 18 millimeters with just image stabilization on, no movie stabilization. And this is the same lens, but using level 1 movie stabilization. And this is going to be the same lens, the 10 to 18 millimeter, but using level 2 movie stabilization. And now we're going to switch to the 18 to 135 millimeter and start with image stabilization on, but no movie stabilization. Here's the same lens, but now we also have the level 1 of movie stabilization turned on. And here is the same lens, the 18 to 135 millimeter with level 2 movie stabilization on. And in the first video, we showed you some walking shots using the Tamron 18 to 400 lens. And this is in level 1. And this shot here is in level 2. All right, so there are the test results. So what's the conclusion that I come to? I think that the adapters are almost identical in terms of image stabilization and in terms of autofocus too. Even though this is not an autofocus video, I feel they perform well, both of them. When I first did the tests and I looked at the results, I felt the Canon was slightly better, but then, you know, I watched the footage again and I was like, nah, it's pretty much the same. And then I performed another test and I looked at those results and I was like, yeah, the Canon's a little bit better. And then I looked at it again and I was like, no, it's the same. And just kind of rinse and repeat. I did more tests and the same conclusion. And my thought is, if it was truly different or much better, it would be obvious. And it's not obvious. So then, to me, it doesn't matter which adapter you get. When it comes to these two adapters, I can't speak about Viltrox and all the other ones that exist because I haven't used them. But as far as these adapters go, Canon, Meike, whatever one you want to use, they're both going to get the job done, in my opinion. And that's just how it goes. But let me say something else, though. When it comes to the image stabilization in the camera, if you're thinking this is going to be a gimbal replacement, as you just saw in the video, it's just not. So for walking shots, to me, it doesn't do well in any scenario, right? Unless, I mean, if you're doing like a walking shot where you're doing like vlogging, I think it looks good, actually. Even if you turn the level 1 and level 2 off, it still looks really good walking around pointing the camera to yourself. If you're trying to shoot something else that's further away and you're shooting wide, you're going to see a little bit of wobble there. You know, depending on what you're doing, that might be acceptable and you don't care. It certainly works well. It's good image stabilization, but it's not a gimbal replacement. I think what it's really meant for is tripod, to mimic a tripod. So if you forgot your tripod at home or you just don't want to bring it and you got to hold that camera for 5-10 minutes shooting a ceremony or something, I think it will get you a pretty steady shot. You know, it will look almost like you're on a tripod. If you want to do some panning, you want to do some tilting, you want to mimic like a slide or something, or maybe a push in like this. I think doing all those, whoa, I have a little platform here that I just fell off of. I think doing, yeah, that really screwed me up. Okay. I think doing all of that stuff, it works well for, just not walking. And as always, any of the cameras or equipment that is discussed in these videos is always down in the descriptions below. Anything used to record these videos is always down in the description below as well. So you can go ahead and check that out if you're interested. Now, if you want to see the original stabilization test I did with the imitation adapter, the Meike adapter, then go ahead and click here to watch that.